Welcome friends, old and new to miscellaneous time. Reese and I have been reminiscing on memories from our school days. Let's continue with part 2. 6th grade, the middle of middle school, we were on the football field trying to play football. It was pretty difficult for us because what they were playing out there in the mornings was more like, see how many people we can shove down. If you haven't played it, I wouldn't recommend it because of one awful personal experience that I had. We're out on the field and it's my turn to be shoved down. Boom. All I remember when I hit the ground was a bunch of stars, blue and red stars. That didn't really signal any alarm. It was just kind of cool. It wasn't cool once you got in the classroom. You freaking everybody out. I stare at what we were supposed to be doing for our assignment. The world around me started to get a little bit brighter. My head felt a lot lighter. Those things in combination made me feel dizzy. But the injury wasn't the experience for me. It was when I went to the hospital. I get in this room, you know, doctors, they make you wait an eternity before you get to do anything, even if you are bleeding out your nose and vomiting on the ground. Since I wasn't doing either of those things, I had to wait 2 eternities. Eventually though, I get to go into this space tube, which they call the CAT scan. I've never been in one of those. What's it like? Cold. If I had to pick one thing to describe a CAT scan, it would be that it's cold. If I lay down to get in this tube, my skin is getting goosebumps on it, and my teeth are chattering like one of those wind-up toys. Here's the tube. Here's me on my back. I sit staring at the ceiling that is this tube, and I get out just for the doctor to tell me that I only had a minor concussion. So even though I went through all the process that made me feel like I was probably going to die, I definitely wasn't. Most of our memories have been taking place at school, but this is in Louisiana, Huntsville, Louisiana, at space camp. There's a lot of fun stuff to do at space camp. The slingshot thing, the G-force thing, the spin you around as fast as they can, upside down all around trying to make you throw up thing. There's a lot of things. But the thing I liked the most was something that wasn't exciting, in your face fun. It was something at night in between the 2 days that we were there, when we were laying in our little rocket-shaped beds. There's a lot of us cramped in a room and none of us wanted to sleep. There was a constant conversation going on throughout the night and we couldn't actually see each other. It would just be a voice shows up and you're like, hey! It was really strange because none of these people were really my friends, but when you go as a whole group of people, you just forget where you're from. Talking up all night, dozing in and out, just talking about ourselves and what we wanted to. Sometimes random stuff. I remember the one thing that Blake Pausch kept playing on his little Razor phone. It was a ringtone. It was something like this. Join with me, Preston. Do you like pancakes? Yes, I like pancakes. Do you like waffles? Yes, I like waffles. Do you like French toast? Yes, I like French toast. Can't wait to get a mouthful of waffles! Made space camp. It really did. That was the theme song to our space camp. 7th grade was actually alright for me. At Pinkston Middle School, we have this thing called 50s Day that they do every year, and the 7th graders there all dress up and do things like they would in the 1950s. All the girls would come to school dressed in their poodle skirts, and all the guys would dress up like either Socs or greasers. Naturally, Reese and I went to school dressed as greasers. We got white t-shirts, rolled up the sleeves. Our skinny little arms couldn't keep them that way, but we tried. We got worn out jeans that fit a little bit tight and rolled up the bottoms of those. Then we wore white socks with Converse. To complete the look entirely, we put a whole bunch of baby oil in our hair and slicked it back with a comb. We had super long hair, down past our nose, so it was really easy to do what we wanted to with it. We go to school, no one can even recognize us. I didn't even know this was a thing. There was a contest to see which one of us little 7th graders was actually dressed in the most authentic greaser outfit. It was a bunch of old people as the judges because I'm assuming they were actually around during the 1950s, so they would understand which one of us looked the most like their childhood. It felt like I was a part of a dog show because each judge got to each one of us and looked at us hard to be sure we were purebred greaser. It really came down to Reese and I looking exactly the same. They had to make some difference that would separate the two of us. So they had us turn around, and I think what won it for me was I still had my black comb stuck in my back pocket so that I could use it to grease back my hair. So that little black piece of plastic won me the greaser contest in 7th grade. The AP English class in the 7th grade was the best class I think I have ever been a part of. I don't know if any of you have read the novel Petey. It's about a man who has cerebral palsy. A friend of ours, Jimmy McDaniel, he was a goofball at the time, still is, but he messed up big time in this class because of his goofballness. He always made noises for no reason, and sometimes those noises could be construed as insulting towards people with mental disabilities. Especially in the context of reading a book about a person with a mental disability. We were just talking about Petey. None of us were making a joke joke or anything. Then the class goes silent, and Jimmy makes one of his noises. The teacher, love you Miss Dizzle, told us before, now no one do anything that could be mistaken for something that will make fun of people with cerebral palsy. She knew our class, and she knew what we were capable of. We were all being good. Jimmy was even being good. But him being himself just kind of accidentally let this slip out. He goes, ugh. Oh no. Hallway. It was funny because he didn't mean to Because he didn't mean to be offensive. It was just him being him, and he accidentally let out that noise. So, we learned the lesson, think before you speak, or in this case, think before you make random noises. As much as that class was treated as a joke, the entirety of 8th grade was treated much more so. It's right before anything matters. Our grades still do not count for anything, but in 9th grade it will. So, it's basically, for us little 8th graders, our last hurrah at being able to do what we want. We made it very clear that's what we intended to do. It was mostly the jocks and the preps, and they still do it. They still make stupid noises. Even senior year, they still make stupid noises and say stupid phrases that make no sense. And this year, it was, I do what I want, and I quit! The teacher says, why didn't you stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I do what I want! The teachers came to expect that anytime they asked us heathens to do anything, that would be our response. So I got the bright idea, and I told somebody in my algebra class that was sitting next to me, hey, I'm gonna make a t-shirt and it's gonna say I do what I want across the front. Oh yeah, that sounds funny. He didn't even know or didn't think that I was actually going to do it. We go to our shirt shop, get these phrases put across our t-shirts, bright red, kind of like this one, and just read, I do what I want, in black letters. Black shirt, I quit, in white. We walk into school the next day and cause chaos. Every time we walked into a class, we would be swarmed by people saying it. I do what I want. I do what I want. I do what I want. I felt bad for the teachers, honestly, because I didn't intend for it to cause everyone to think that they really could do what they want. But we were accidental rock stars that day. We were accidental rock stars. One day in 8th grade, I was having a particularly terrible day. I felt like crap. I wanted to go home. I walked into my computer applications 1 class, and Jake Somerville sits down next to me. Out of nowhere, Jake starts going, bum, bum, beat-um, bum, bum, beat-um, bum. What I thought was that he was going to start annoying me with singing that song. Like, dude, not today. But it turned out he wasn't trying to annoy me. In fact, he was doing the opposite. He wanted to cheer me up. And he looked at me, expectingly. What? The guy on the other side of him. Bum, bum, beat-um, bum, bum, beat-um, bum. So, I joined in, and we're all 3 singing Disturbia together in computer applications 1. Bum, bum, beat-um, bum, bum, beat-um, bum. It made my day. And that was the fondest memory that I had of 8th grade. Us, 8th and 9th grade are the only 2 classes in one building. So our freshman class are king of the school for 1 year. As kings of a building, you start to gain confidence, and as you gain confidence, you start to do things that reflect that confidence. One of those little things was something we called the man card system. This isn't where if you do something stupid, you say, give up your man card. This is a real man card. What we did was we all initially started with some number of man cards, and each time one of us did something manly, we would gain another man card, and each time we did something feminine, we would lose one of these man cards. Somebody made a really awesome shot with a frisbee into the trash can. Here's a man card. Thanks, man. I deserved that. We went to Lambert's, home of the throwed rolls, and you got a roll thrown at you, and you didn't catch it, man. Man, I know, man. Give me that. Man, he thought he was totally gonna burn you with that joke, but you turned it around with an awesome comeback. That was sweet, man. Here's a man card. Thanks, man. No problem, man. We also had sub money called Regis dollars, and 5 of these suckers equaled 1 man card. It was an entire currency built around your manhood. We were men that year, and that proved it in the dumbest way possible. It was our boyhood conglomerate of guys who came up with that system, and that same group of guys included one particular man who created the physical entities of the man cards. His name was Ethan DJ Earthquake Spurlock. He moved away, but we do remember this man card system, and we do remember you, Ethan Spurlock. You walked up to me and Bryson one day. Guys, I have an idea for a video game. It's gonna be an app, and it's gonna be a really cool first-person shooter, and I really want you guys to help me make it. Whoa, dude, yeah, that sounds awesome. We'll try and help you. He had a whole bunch of software that he used to make actual 3D models, and he tried his best. We got a door being made that could actually be opened, a hand with a gun, and a spaceship that never actually flew anywhere. That's all we got. The video game was scrapped. Reese and I, though, still took this opportunity to exercise our creativity a little bit. I remember us telling the entire story. We will not do that to you guys, but we will give our little quick pitch to you so you get a gist of this game that will never ever happen. Lighthouse. It's the future in America, and things are not okay. First, there was some sort of foreign nation that bombed the East Coast, and America, being America, was not going to take that. This was a nuclear bomb that wipes out millions. We don't know who did it, and nobody will own up to it. So we take it out on the people who we have the most intel on, Russia and China. Not very smart of us, but we don't care. We want war. We set them against each other, and we set them against us. America has come up with this technology called pegs, which set up force fields around any major business, any major facility, anything important to protect them from nuclear warfare. So down goes America, down goes Russia, down goes China, and everywhere else in the world is destroyed, except for these little small patches left in America, protected by the pegs and these gigantic Burj Dubai tower-sized lighthouses that scan the air and filter out the nuclear radiation that would fall on the people otherwise. Our main character, he has no idea who he is. He has no recollection of his past. All he knows is that he has this awesome device built into his hand that absorbs weapons and lets him transfer weapons in and out of his flesh, and that the people who kidnapped him and gave him his amnesia were also planning on killing him, but he is saved by these members of Guard. So he tries to figure out who he is in this strange, screwed up world. Okay, let's get back to some real memories. It was 10th grade, near the end of the year. All the seniors that were in our cross-country team were starting to leave. So what do? To let them know that we love them, we trashed their locker. We used to have an hour-and-a-half long class that was dedicated to us being able to go out and run so that we could get some mileage in for our cross-country season. Since it was near the end of the year, we had no reason to use that class that day. We instead used all hour and a half to destroy Richardsons Locker. All of the things that we did to it, we did while it was locked, using a hanger and poking through the little holes that were in the front. It was a gym locker, so it had those little diamonds that let off the air, I assume, so that it didn't smell bad when your dirty laundry was in it. Smelling bad was the least of his worries once we got done with it. I actually have journals that I keep, and I have this event written down in detail, since it's your memory here. The granola bars were the threshold to so much destruction of property, such as pulling the rest of the granola bars through and throwing the crumbs back in, turning on a flashlight, unscrewing a mini shampoo bottle and emptying the contents out, taking athletic tape and stuffing it through the top of the door, leaving strips dangling inside like streamers, tying his shoes to the side by their laces, tying his watch with pocket knife attached to the other side by the band of the watch, squirting water from Josh's water bottle onto a shower poof and drenching it and then some, tying his socks to the side, slipping old school ID cards with notes on them, not very nice ones, through the door, took string cheese and shredded it, then put that in there along with some crushed up sandwich crackers, and last but maybe least, threw shreds of paper towels in there and jammed the broken hanger in as far as possible until it got stuck to signify that we were done. What he did to get us back, he put shower gel in our shoe so that when we went on our run that day, we were slipping around. Very uncomfortable. Ben could have done way worse. If you know a class clown in your grade, that class clown is nothing compared to Anthony Finley. The first thing I remember him doing, it wasn't really even a prank, he was just messing with the teacher. Miss Westco walks in and she's trying her darndest to teach Spanish. Him and Ian start pointing finger guns at each other. Pow! Pew! Pew! Stop! That was the most elementary thing that they could do. It was making Miss Westcoat so mad. She sent him to sack. It's like detention. The next thing I remember him doing was drinking from her cup. Anthony was sitting by her desk now because she placed him there so that she could watch over him. Bad idea. While she wasn't looking and she was writing on the board, he takes her cup. It's from McDonald's. It's a sweet tea. Miss Westcoat turns around. Anthony! What, Shannon? No, I didn't do anything. Go to sack. Please, Shannon, no, I didn't do anything. I swear, it was just sack. He went to sack all the time in that class. The second to last time he went to sack was for warming the room up so that all of us felt like we were in an oven. Anthony had turned the thermostat up all the way. Miss Westcoat was just sitting there minding her own business, and she notices it's getting a little warm. Is it hot in here? And everybody starts laughing. Anthony! No, Shannon, I didn't do it, I swear. Go to sack. The last day of school, he walks in the door. He has this big smile on his face. go to sack. Okay, Shannon, bye. The perfect ending to that imperfect class. I don't think I learned a lick of Spanish. Sophomore year is kind of the calm before the storm that is junior year. One of the contributing factors to making our junior year hell was physics class. Don't get me wrong, physics class wasn't all bad. One thing, the highlight of that class really, was the trebuchet project. You had to do the math to build your own French catapult. We probably went totally on board with this because it was the only thing that we actually knew how to do in physics class. After we got through all the boring physics stuff, we went to work building this puppy. Luckily, we were at our grandpa's house, and grandpas have everything you need to build a trebuchet. Here you go. Here you go. Yeah, I have that. Our final product was called the Moneyball. This thing was 7 feet tall when its arm was extended, was 10 feet tall, and could fling a baseball clear across a football field. Pull the metal, drop the weight, swing, let it fly! It felt like we were going to war every time we released a baseball. We spray painted this thing green, we taped fake money to it, and we put giant glitter letters that said Moneyball on the arm. All of that work, and this project was worth 30 points. 30 points. I don't regret it. I don't care. It could have been worth 0. It was awesome. Even after the trebuchet project, it still stands that junior year was super hard for us, and the epitome of that was AP World History. When I walked into that classroom, my eyes shut because they didn't want to see that place. My legs quivered and started to move backward because they wanted to take my body out of that place. My heart started to beat faster. It wasn't because I was anxious. My body was trying to kill itself so that I did not have to endure another moment in that classroom. A fond memory of that class is very rare, and it actually came at the very, very end when I was taking the AP exam to boost your grade and give you college credit if you get a high enough grade. Like we're gonna do that? We didn't know anything. Last open response on the last test of the last day of AP World History. I did not care. I was standing at the gates of hell. I didn't even need a key. They were wide open. I was just gonna walk out and never come back to that place ever again. I took a page out of good old America's playbook and just went full on patriotic with this. I drew a picture. I put an eagle. I put the White House. I put the American flag, Mount Rushmore, George Washington, fireworks, and God bless America. Best part about it is I get a letter grade bump because I took that exam. Since I just drew a picture on my open response, I went from a C to a B. God bless America. In cross country at the beginning of every season, we do this thing where we all break up into teams within our big team and we do a race. This is our version of a scrimmage. Only instead of the old shirts versus skins, we all make our own team names and we all dress up. Some examples from throughout the years: Wonder Thighs, Jellyfish, Grass, Thundercats, the African Plains, the Intelligent Donkeys. I had a team called the Crazy Eights. It wasn't really my team, but the person who was in charge of picking the people on the team was there for her first year. So I took on a lot of the responsibilities. I like making t-shirts, so I made t-shirts for this team. About an hour before this race is supposed to start, I call up Reese, hey, make a cardboard cutout of one big heart and one little heart. I bought red spray paint and I came back with the spray paint, took their stencils and quickly sprayed on as many hearts as I needed. We were listening to, what do you call it? Stacey Q's Two of Hearts over and over on a loop. Now it's really hard to listen to that song. I can't listen to that song. It hurts. I went to that thing with the t-shirts. We signed our names on the back of them and we won that race. And we looked fly doing it. In high school, everybody has their advisor for 3 years and me and Bryson had the same one. In that advisory, we had mentors who would come every month or so and tell us some piece of advice or expertise from their life that would help us with our lives. Senior year, our mentor was Mr. Chisholm. He was an okay mentor. He taught us a whole bunch of stuff that wasn't really applicable to life, but was still kind of cool to know. We started up on this conversation about how technology, since the moon landing, doing has been for fun and has not really progressed anything in society. We just had to pull out our cell phones and show him all the little things that we used on a day-to-day basis to make our lives easier. And the whole time, he was just arguing against it. He kept saying over and over that one line, "It's a toy. A calculator on your cell phone that you have in your pocket all the time. That's just a toy. The flashlight that comes in handy that's on your cell phone that you can just whip out every now and then to use and see in the dark. That's a toy. That app that you can press to check the weather for the next week. That is a toy. It's a toy." He had a guest speaker, the lady from a telephone company. They used this telephone company's towers to triangulate the location of a criminal based on his cell phone and tracked him down and arrested him. Bet you couldn't do that in 1969. And I bet you couldn't do that with a toy. He did teach us some things like tying knots. Oh yeah, he taught us how to tie a knot. Thanks for that. You're not all bad, Mr. Chisholm. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like it a lot, share it with your friends. And if you like it a lot, subscribe to our channel. Check out our social media pages. The links are in the description below. Thank you, everybody who has been a part of mine and Bryson's lives. There are some names mentioned in the stories, but that's not even scratching the surface of all the people who we've encountered who have changed our lives for the good and the bad. For all of you who were involved in those other memories that weren't mentioned and the ones that were, thank you from Reese and I. We hope you enjoyed listening to our little stories, and I hope that we have many more memories to talk about in the future. To the class of 2015, cheers.